Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Write a Screenplay Live, as I write my screenplay live and you can follow along with me or work on your own story. This is episode 6 of this live stream series. Hello everybody in the chat. Hello Lakshay, Mysteries, Vintage, Hunter, Mysteries, Lakshay, yeah, good to see you guys here. Hello, Moni in the chat, in the Discord, Alias in the Discord as well. Good to see you all here. So, we are going to continue working on my screenplay, The Good Cult, in this, just as this is what I'm doing for who knows how long. And today, I had some ideas over the weekend that I am going to kind of throw down in to start. Good afternoon, Tamana. Good afternoon, Stevenson. Thank you guys for being here. And today, this is going to be a weird week, I think, for these live streams, because the first week, last week, was a lot of organizing ideas that I already had, and then we got into a little bit of actually scening out Act 1, and I think we made some real progress there. I think we have a pretty solid scene outline, at least enough to hop into Act 2. And this is really where I think this idea starts to get more and more difficult for me. Part of what is tough about this part of the story is that I'm really trying to create this world, and especially this leader of this commune, who is a person that I don't know. I don't know this person. I've never met this sort of archetypal, like Abrahamic type individual that I want to create for this screenplay. And so this week is going to very likely be a lot of me stumbling around in the dark, some free writing, just trying to get my footing here on exactly how I want this to flow. And hopefully that is at least somewhat entertaining and helpful for you to know that everyone gets stuck and it is difficult for everyone to get a sense of their story. But I'm going to start with the easy part, which is writing some of the ideas that I had off call over this weekend about this story. Lakshay, if you're interested in getting feedback from me on your script, go to my website, practicalscreenwriting.com. It's right here above me. And apply for coaching, and we can talk there about what is your best path. So yeah, this week I think is going to be a lot more of me just trying to push through this first part of the second act and get a sense of this man, this figure that I'm trying to create. In many ways, I am trying to do this. Where is he? Yeah. I'm trying to create this relationship here. Like the ultimate mentor is God, right? He is your ultimate mentor, your ultimate guiding light, the ultimate thing that you follow. And in many ways, I'm trying to embody strength, masculine energy, power, masculine judgment, these sorts of things in this entity, in this human being in this story. But that's hard to do because I am just a person. But we're going to start with the easy stuff today and get into this. Answer my question, Vintage Cringe member says, without any politeness. Within your physical waters. Oh wait, no, I want this down in my dialogue ideas for now. They move with the moon. I'm looking at my notes. Pay attention, y'all. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, this weekend I had a lot of just dialogue ideas. I'm really just trying to see this man in my mind. Kind of hear this voice of power. Oh yeah. This is down here. Robbie has an eclectic armory, complete with a scythe sword kind of thing. I need to get clear on what that is. But that's definitely something that we get down here, not in the beginning. Yeah. This is something that will be up here. We make our own mufflers. Change the airflow. Change the sound. Actually, this might be a sign here. On a sign entering into the commune. Let they that stole steal no more. Oh wow, Arrow's got a lot of good thoughts here. I will get to those in just a moment. Arrow, thank you so much for contributing to the script. I really appreciate that. Oh yeah. Another thing I wanted to add, I talked a lot about like addictions that he is needing to shed, that Henry is shedding throughout this story. One I wanted to add is music, because music is a huge one that is not talked about. Yeah, I have all the addiction stuff. Is that up here? Yeah, music. Music needs to be big. Yeah, Henry needs to be listening to music, podcasts on etc. a lot. We get almost no real nature sound. Music in the car, music walking around, music at work, podcasts at night, nothing but noise in the mind. What else did I need to write down? This is some stuff that I'll probably start off today. But I'm going to read this super long comment here that was placed in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, links below the stream. Arrow says, "Hi Tyler, been watching the recordings, finally catching it live. Here are a couple thoughts I had. Hope they help. An idea for a setting is Oregon. Lots of Twitter employees work in Portland, like my brother, but just outside the city is very rural, untamed. The state has a long history of cults and anti-government groups." Interesting. Oregon for the setting. Maybe that works. Write that down. Number 2, in real life, Twitter doesn't have journalists as employees. Yes, that's correct. Well, news companies post it on Twitter, but they don't work directly for Twitter. Right. So I is a fictional combination of social media and a news organization. Essentially, yes. Or maybe it's simpler to have Henry work for a BuzzFeed or Huffington Post type media company. I think what I'm doing is creating a combo in the sense that it is both a social media site and a news organization at the same time. Because I think that's what we're evolving to now. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay. Let's see. Do you plan to challenge the beliefs or system of the cult? Is it purely good, or does it have some legitimate drawbacks? For example, does it require you to cut off ties to your family? If Ephraim presents the thesis, and the antithesis, what is the final synthesis? So that's a good question. Do I plan to challenge the beliefs and the systems of the cult? So, or does it, is it purely good, or does it have some legitimate drawbacks? That's a good question. It's not going to necessarily be purely good in the sense of individual human beings are never purely good. However, it is going to be very much presented as a radically better option than our current society. Because our current society is literally built to be poison. Right? The food that we eat, the products that we buy, our entire society is essentially incorrect. It's just the most simple way to think about it, and it's been incorrect for a very, very, very long time. And I think that only now, what I'm trying to do with this story is show that there is a big disconnect between the world that people think we live in and the world that we actually live in. And a lot of people that are older, let's say older than 30, really, older than 35, older than maybe 40, they tend to think that we still live in the 1990s because it is instinctual to them to think that way. They can't really think another way, or they have not realized just how unbelievably world-changing the internet is. And so what I'm trying to kind of show through this story is just how big that the internet is, how big it changes everything. Because we still live in a universe, we still live in a societal structure that was set up for us like back in 1970, 1960, even the 50s, right? Or you can even say it goes back further than that. A lot of people would say it goes back further than that. And so we really do live in a matrix now. We live in a world that is built for us. That's why we have presidents, which are the president of a company, right? They're not really the leader. They're the president of the company of the United States of America, which is not really what's going on. And so we have all these weird strangeness, and if you actually educate yourself about how things work, you realize that through the internet, when you educate yourself through the internet about how things actually work, and you don't rely on the supposed traditional pathways of information, you realize that, there's actually a lot in our current constructed society of cars and roads and supermarkets that is not actually good. And that's what I want to kind of take a look at in this story. One of the things I want to take a look at here. Now we had idea number 4, a pitch for Owen's backstory. I know you were saying you saw him as a police officer and military man, but those are institutions that do form a sense of brotherhood. Yes. Maybe it makes sense that he was a corporate man. He was in the system his whole life and found himself feeling isolated. He knows the problems of modern America because he lived them. He was working 80 hours a week and miserable. He left it all to live in the woods. Even Buddha was a prince first. Maybe he even founded I with Ephraim. Okay, I see what you're going for here. He really walked the walk. He gave up his force of power a lot harder to do than a cop who went to jail and had no good options. This could set up a personal conflict between Owen and Ephraim. For example, Owen could still have a seat on the board of the company, so it's secret. Yeah, okay, I see what you're going for here, Arrow. But I still like the idea of him being like a police officer, or he is part of an organization that has some supposed sense of brotherhood, right? Where there isn't like, and maybe the police is I still think thinking about the police and him as a police officer is a good way to think about this, because the police are still a part of the corporation of America. They are not the police of the Republic of the United States of America. They are the United States Corporation's police. And that's an important distinction, because they still are part of the corporation like you're talking about. You're saying maybe it makes more sense that he was a corporate man. The police are the corporate men. It's all the same thing. And I think also police give a sense of brotherhood, but then that brotherhood is also not for the benefit of the local people. It is for the benefit of the people who tell the police what to do, right? So, and again, it's this false sense of brotherhood from my perspective. And so that's why I've set it up this way. Oregon is an interesting place for it to take place. I think out of your ideas, that's the one that sticks out to me the most. That Oregon could be a good place for this story to take place. But yeah, I like the idea that he is. I like the idea that he was a cop, killed someone in duty. It was a big news story, like traditional news, your old school news, like Fox and CNN would talk about it, in like the 80s or something. He goes to jail for a very long time, like 20 years or something, gets out the other side, and like essentially can't operate in the corporate system of America, needs to go do something else, and also carries a lot of anger and resentment from that. And I think that's people have been asking me about the character flaws of some of these people. I think the key flaw for Henry in this story is about, I think it's pride, definitely, desire for fame, desire to be recognized as, as a great, intelligent person, this kind of thing. And this is ultimately what is going to get the cult leader killed, because when Henry joins the cult, he is also doing it because he wants to write the story, right? He still hasn't fully let go of this side. So I don't think he wants to get initiated. I think it's Henry wants to make a brilliant journalistic piece essentially on this cult. So he's joining at this point, but he's still wishy-washy, right? He's still not fully committed to them. And that's also, I had the initial idea that maybe he becomes like the leader in the end, but I don't think that even makes sense. It's too early for the story, and that's not even what I'm trying to say. It's not about him being the leader. It's about what happens is I really think that him and this cult leader entity that I'm trying to create, this person says just right, yeah. I really should, honestly. The cult leader is this older man who has not existed in the time of the internet. And so he carries all this knowledge and understanding of the system and got really smacked with it super hard, but he doesn't know how to fix it, right? It's just the great giga complex he lives inside of. He doesn't know how to fix it. But then what Henry is coming in and has and is offering in this is this idea of like, hey, we can actually do something about this, right? We can change the system. We can influence it because we can speak to each other in this way. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. And yeah, so, and this just opening of Act 2 has caused me so much head banging against the wall that I'm probably just going to sit here and free write and try to figure this out. I see the stream looks like it's having some kind of problem. Anytime I talk about something interesting, the stream seems to cut out on me, but whatever. Yeah, he's gonna meet. Already met Luke. Probably meet. Maybe. My goodness, the live stream delay is really causing me some frustration here. I don't know why my internet is so bad as it is. But that's how it's going to be, I guess. I'm not going to freak out about this. Yeah, I mean, my internet, I have a wired connection here. I don't understand any reason why my internet would be going in and out except for just no reason at all. I am going to focus on this freaking script in front of me. If it's the last freaking thing I do. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not looking at OBS. It will be what it is. Okay. Does that even make sense? Okay, don't ever turn off all notifications forever and always. Okay. In this. Maybe giant. Something like this. This also goes in here. Somewhere in there. What is decided here? David says Owen should be suspicious that Henry is an undercover ATF agent. Not a bad idea. What would that even look like? Let me see. You know, what would that even feel like? Also, day 3. Well, I don't know. I don't think he would, because Luke would have vetted him. But this is the 3rd day. More on day 3. I think foraging for food. Maybe. Yeah. I guess it really comes down to this. A lot of this is 1-2 that I'm in right now. What is the problem? What's the inciting problem of Act 2? What puts things off track? I feel like I don't have a 3. I can't see this first part of Act 2 yet. Not super clearly. I mean, this helps me a bit, but it doesn't. Trust the process. Aaron says, okay, another thought you said at the start of Act 2, Henry agrees to do the initiation, but he is wishy-washy about joining. Could you push that further to create more clear goals and conflict? What if at this point Henry agrees to join the cult with zero intention of actually joining it? He's trying to get inside, find some scandalous secrets. Yes. Publish hippies. He's a cynic at this point. You said Henry is a company man, a believer in the modern American society. Yeah. He will grow to actually... Yes, you're totally right. Yeah, so I need to create this. This really is the contrast here. Arrow is giving some fire feedback in the Discord today. I appreciate it. I'm just going to toss all your thoughts here. This is what he said. If you want to take a look and read. You said at the start of Act 2, Henry agrees to do the initiation, but he's wishy-washy about joining. Maybe the problem is... Owen finds out Henry's real reason for reaching out to the cult, which is to create his what would you call it? Journalistic piece, an essay, an investigative report. I don't know. Journalist report, let's say. Something like this. Yeah, because I really need to... Interesting that he's specifically trying to take a photo of him. That's interesting. I think that could definitely play in. He's trying to take a picture of him. But yeah, I think it's this has to be the problem. Finds out the real reason for reaching out to the cult to create this journalist report. So then what would he do about that? Good idea, Corey. I like your comments in the YouTube chat. I don't know if this is gonna be survival and alone in nature. Yeah. This is all gonna be earlier. I like this stuff. Maybe they run up against uncrossable areas of nature as once he is working. Easier it's for sure to brutalize. Yeah. This is kind of a big thing I want to have in this whole beginning Act 2 thing. Is this like he is reduced to a man with a task in the woods. That's where I want things to go. Yeah. Show a lot of natural wisdom. Yada da da da. Henry must handle surviving nature alone very little. Um, hmm. What else? Yeah. Headphones, I'd say. Yeah, I really need this 1 and 2 to be in opposition, obviously. He wants to make this brilliant journalistic piece on this cult. Owen finds out Henry's real reason for reaching out to the cult to create this journalistic report. And yeah, I think Owen will force him to decide. So then Henry chooses the cult over the modern world. And then how am I visualizing this? Let's see. Destruction of old property, ability to survive in the woods alone, knowledge of their worldview. David Henry is not an experienced biker. I want him to get his bike around here in Act 1. The 5 of Act 1, he gets his dirt bike. Okay. Maybe like here. Macron asked me when this will be finished. I'm not sure when it is done. It's more like an afternoon, evening kind of scene. Arrow says, just thought you need to give Henry a clear goal, something that would get Henry kudos from his bosses. What is the specific rumor about this cult? Yeah, maybe. Goulet says, Henry, fasting reminds me of when I do Ramadan, Muslim fasting for 1 month. The first days are really hard. I am more focused on the physical pain of hunger. Once you are used to the hunger, there is a shift in my mind where I become more spiritual, and I ask myself a lot of existential and spiritual questions. In Henry's case, I can easily imagine something like that. First, hunger and thirst hits very hard. Once his body adapts, Henry wonders why he is doing it, but wants to continue fasting. Then he asks himself existential and spiritual questions. He realizes what he's doing for the eye and society is pointless. Maybe that's why Owen does nothing when he understands. Yes. This is good stuff, Goulet. Very helpful thoughts here. Continues his fast. That's got to be the big decision. Because everything, it has to be about fasting. Fasting really is the key. So maybe that's the point, right? It has to be foraging for food. How long will this go? There has to be a point of extreme. There has to be kind of a... Mm-hmm. He realizes that what he's doing for I in society is pointless. And that Owen knows fasting will transform him. Yes, I think you're right, Goulet. This is a comment from, what is it, Goulet Waylet in the chat, in the Discord. And so out of this, I think maybe you even have this scene where Owen says this, like, he makes this known. He knew. This is doing for the I in society's pointless. So this, yeah. No, Corey, you can stay in the YouTube chat. It's no big deal. It's no big deal, man. Joy, yes, I have his want is physically achievable. It's that he wants to make this journalistic piece. This is what he wants to do. He wants to create this thing right here. Corey, if you have like 50 suggestions, then yeah, you can probably join the Discord. Linked below. Hop in. You'll see where to submit questions. Not quite sure why my stream put itself on a 22-second delay. That's a strange thing to happen. But whatever. I will continue forward. Yeah, this is somewhere around here. Yeah, we'll just put this down here for now. Okay. I mean, I think that's a pretty decent start for today. Yeah. And this is, let me just see how many scenes I have now. 1, 2. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but let's say 3, 4, okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay. I think that could actually work. And then kind of 11, kind of 12 there. Okay. Yeah, I don't hate that. really don't know how this is going to look yet. But this is going to play in montage. I want to create an image here of "25 children all climbing the same big beautiful tree. Lightning bugs lighting up. Feeling fire and smiley faces." Bureaucracy, no cars, no licenses, none of this. There's a song that I have bookmarked on Spotify for a long time that has been a song that has helped me get the visual of what I want to go for here. Yeah. Here, let me find this and play this on YouTube for you. So for this kind of Feast of the Initiate, when he finally makes it all the way in, it's called Osea. Yeah. This song right here. I'll play this for you. And that's what I want it to sound like. I think that's going to be very cool. I think that's what it works, right? Or it's SBTRKT. Who made it? SBTRKT. SBTRKT. This I have no idea on yet. This is probably the, like, I still have to figure this out. This links to my unknown opening scene. First entrance in, ceremony of initiation, feast of the initiate. That should be the big pieces here. And then yeah, I don't know how we might place this in. I mean, this might actually come later. Somewhere down in here. I think after this, the Feast of the Initiate, now we cut back to what Burke and them are doing. So, yeah, then it needs to be Burke and Ephraim back in the city here. And now we kind of get the second half of this Act 2. Henry has been missing for how long? 2 months? This is going to be a key point. We know he had to have found the cult. Why are they so incentivized? Why is Burke and Ephraim so incentivized to find the cult? Maybe to another victim? Maybe that's what it is. So it's like new current narrative. Henry has been kidnapped by the cult. Maybe something like that, like prominent internet journalist got too close to these evil cannibals, and now maybe it's like a statewide police investigation is underway. They like to say underway, don't they? Maybe something like that. And then within this, and maybe this is just part of the new current narrative, this is part of here. Whatever. Maybe the choice of the scene here is go to Owen's family, brother and mother, bring them in for questioning. Maybe they get a lead. Maybe they get a lead from the pastor about how Henry might have. Okay. Maybe it's something like Burke goes to our pastor. The pastor answers as many questions as he can. Maybe leads Burke to his mother? I don't know. But something has to happen there. And we need, this is going to be a big turning point. Excellent. Man, Goulet is just hitting with the notes here today. Shout out Goulet in the Discord. He is crushing it today. Let me grab this as well. Wow, I got a fruit fly or something just really desiring to bother me. Okay. It's going to be something like this. So here's another note from Goulet. He says, many religions associate fasting with a form of purification. I think this is Owen's belief too, so that Henry can purify himself of his sins in some way. Once Henry is purified, he is accepted into the cult. In a way, we can say that the old Henry is dead, and the cult could be celebrating the death of the old Henry and the death of their old selves during this scene, during the feast. That's interesting. So maybe actually this goes as a part of this initiation ceremony of initiation. This is showing the death of the old life and the resurrection of the new. That is not how you spell that. I don't know why it's not giving me. Or did I don't think I spelled it right. Maybe I did. Yeah, that's a good note. And yes, you're exactly right. Owen's belief is that fasting is a form of purification. Absolutely. And so I think that needs to be... I have not been super clear about what Owen's desire is in this story, or what Owen's focus, his goal is in this Act 2. And that's what it is. Owen believes that fasting is a form of spiritual purification, because you cleanse your body of its physical lusts, and by your spirit resisting these physical lusts, you open up a stronger connection to your spirit and to God. That is what he believes. 2 R's, 1 S. See, I thought so. I did it the opposite. There it is. 1 S, 2 R's. All right. Radical Caddis, yo, I'm in your live. You're here. Welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh, this fly is actually killing me. Okay. Yeah, so I think he's missing for months. You're going to die, my brother. Where you at? Okay. I'm sure he'll come back to bother me again. So yeah, maybe Bird goes to the pastor. Pastor answers questions. Could lead to the mother. I need to just understand what's happening here. How do I want this midpoint to actually play out? No, I didn't get it. Oh well. I don't know about this midpoint right now, which is okay. That's okay. I don't have to know right now. I do not have to know. So far, I'm pretty happy with getting some real scenes down and getting clearer on what's happening in the beginning of Act 2. You know, honestly, I thought this was actually going to go worse today. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was really, really dreading getting into this with you guys today because I thought it was going to be a lot of just terrible, terrible ideas and things weren't going to work. But what actually happened, which happens pretty much every single time and hopefully can be a good lesson, is I made a lot of progress just by sitting with it and working on it and getting some great suggestions from people in the group. So, and writing out dialogue. See, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my writing process is, like, the reason I like to use this story framework document like this, which you can find for free in the Discord, in the rules tab of the Discord. If you want my story frameworks, you can find them in the Discord under the rules tab for free. But the reason I like doing this is that it really gets me away from all these other structured formats where I only have to do one thing. Like, this really allows me to look at, like, I'm throwing down dialogue ideas, and at the same time I'm able to think about my characters, and at the same time I'm able to think about what's going on in the big story circle beats, right? I'm able to think and keep my ideas at these different layers, versus if you are writing a screenplay in final draft only, right? You're just hopping in immediately. Well, now you're immediately in the format of scene headings, action lines, character dialogue, all of this. And then if you're in a outline, some sort of like pre-constructed outline that doesn't give you any freedom to mess around, well, then you're like trying to work on scenes, and everything can be constrictive in that way. And I have found that I gain the most freedom by having this framework document, because I'm able to look at the big picture of the story while also throw in dialogue ideas, and I can operate on different levels of the story until I'm really ready to get into final draft, and actually starting to format scenes for the script, for the medium of screenplay. Versus here, I'm a little bit more flexible and free, and I'm able to really brainstorm out in a way that I think is fairly efficient, because I'm not having to write the whole script to understand where I want, what I want to happen, but I also have an understanding of how it needs to feel and what needs to be going on, big picture, and then trying to figure out how that needs to play out by sometimes just throwing dialogue down. And so today has been more of just trying to throw down these ideas of scenes, throwing down a dialogue when it makes sense, writing them descriptively, or throwing down sentences just to get me started here. And I think this has really helped a lot for 2A. I am pretty happy with how this is coming together. It's still messy, of course, but I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm trying to get my ideas out, and get my ideas out in a way where I can reference them, right? Like, that's a big thing I also believe with this framework document, is I want to be able to reference an idea. That's why I have all these little comments and lines of dialogue and notes and all this stuff, is I still want it to be in the timeline of the story. And when I'm writing a certain scene, I want to know all the ideas for that scene in one place. And this is really just what this helps me do. Shadow Betrayer asked me, do I get scared if during development some of these scenes or beats need to be changed? Absolutely not. No. Every single thing is subject to change if it makes sense for the ultimate vision of the story. That's what I'm really... Like, this gives me the freedom to change things at a massive level. And that's really what you should all be thinking about when you're writing your scripts is... the story has to be in your mind. You have to give yourself the freedom to change things at a huge level if it's necessary. Because what happens is writers get attached to ideas that are obviously incorrect and should be changed, but they wrote 30 pages that support that particular idea in their story, and therefore they don't want to change it. And I understand that, because when you write 30 pages in the wrong direction, it's very frustrating. I have done it many times. I did it in the first draft. Like, this is the second draft that we're working on now. There was a previous draft of the script that was just so bad. Maybe I'll put it in the Discord or something if you guys want to read it, because it's just really, really, really not good. It's just a first draft, and that's okay. It's okay that it wasn't good. But I think it's not so much about being perfect in the ideas and writing everything perfectly. It's way more about a willingness to continue to mold, a willingness to continue to shape the story into what it ultimately needs to be, rather than getting caught up and sitting and saying, well, I already wrote 100 pages of the script in this way, so all I could do now are minor changes. It's like, no, you have to be able to go in there and change the core mechanics of that story, make real deep adjustments, right? Change entire acts of the story, change characters, add characters that change how every single scene is going to play out, right? When you give yourself the freedom to make those big changes, then your story can get better faster. It's holding on to bad ideas that catches you up, right? Have a ton of ideas, and don't be afraid to write down bad ideas or afraid to write bad ideas. There are, in this currently, ideas that I will probably come back to and think, oh, this is actually a bad idea, and I want to change this, I want to change that. And already, right? Like, already I needed to adjust this beat 3 of Act 2 to really identify what is that problem that's getting us jumping off in Act 2, right? Because just because we got the story started, it's like we need a new problem with the new opposition to Henry's desire. And so I needed to work that out. But I think I have a bit here. And so that's what I feel like the framework document really allows me to do, is it allows me to make big heading level, big scale, 10,000 foot view level changes to the story while maintaining clarity and while not having to do a million drafts. I'm not opposed to doing multiple drafts. There will likely be... I hope that this is my only page 1 rewrite for this script, because I did that first draft and it was just really rushed and not fully fleshed out. And so I'm really going back to the drawing board here with this version. My hope is this is the only time I have to do that. If I find myself going back to the drawing board again, I will do it if it's necessary, but I'm hoping that I have enough big picture clarity on this story that I can be making rewrites to scenes themselves and making adjustments. That's always the hope. But again, I'm not going to get attached to things if they need serious change. I think this is a pretty good stopping point. I'm going to let this piece sit with me a bit. This is really leading up to the midpoint, right? Like the surprise problem and the climactic choice of the 7. This is really what creates that midpoint movement. And so I think I'm going to spend a lot of tomorrow's session on this element here of the story, and then that'll be tomorrow's. But I think I made a surprising amount of progress on this initial piece. It's not all perfectly thought out, but I think I made a lot of progress here that actually gets me to this midpoint with some more clarity. And that will be what I work on next. Get Hype says, I am a 13-year-old writing my... I'm a 13-year-old writing my first screenplay. I've already started my first one. Excellent. Being based on my life without an outline. What should I do? I have about 2 days to finish to show my friends. Hey, man, keep writing. Yeah, you've got 2 days to finish. You got a deadline. Keep writing. Don't stop now. Yeah, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Yeah, and that's great, man. Thanks, Aaron. I hope I've made some actual progress today. I really think I did. Thanks for hopping in on the stream and being here. I'm going to go ahead and cut it there, guys. I hope it wasn't too laggy today. OBS is telling me I have a 22-second delay for who knows why. I didn't set. I have a 1 second delay on this stream, intentionally set, but whatever. And I'll answer Corey's question here. Corey asked me, how are you thinking of scenes? Visualizing instinct? I'm trying to visualize in my head. So when I'm trying to think about the scenes, like today, when I was going through these first scenes of Act 2 here, like what's going on here, like and as you can see here, I'm just writing out what I see in my head. I'm just trying to visualize and write it out. And I am a big believer in seeing this scene in your mind, like as much as possible, all the way down to like, can you see the shot? What are you really trying to describe when you're trying to write it on the page? You're trying to ultimately describe individual shots. So are we looking at the trees? Are we looking at 4 men against a landscape? Are we looking at a dirt bike, right? What's actually going on? And trying to keep those visuals in my mind is absolutely how I like to do it. Thank you guys so much for hopping on the stream today. I will be back tomorrow for another Let's Write a Screenplay Live. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.